Namaste, angels. I'm still laying in my bed, and it's the first time I've ever done this, particularly on TikTok. TikTok lets me make these 10-minute videos, and I've never made one. But I was about to do a post, and I said, oh, yeah, you know what? Let's do a story time instead. So the reason I'm on here doing this story time is because I've spoken on my page about my ex that passed away last year. This past summer, and I've spoken of him very highly when I've spoken of him, and that's because he was a good brother, he was a good man, he was a good person, so that's why I speak of him highly. But he was not perfect, and it seems I've given at least one of you the impression that he was perfect, and so that person too has been looking for a perfect mate and maybe putting just unreasonable demands upon themselves and anybody that they're dating. And I don't want to be, I don't want anybody doing that on my account. So there's one thinking that, maybe there's more of you, and I just wanted to correct it, in one fell swoop. It was not perfect. In fact, I will share a little story time with you. So I didn't notice it at the time, but it seemed he probably had like a huge jealous streak, like none other that I'd ever seen before. And the reason I say that, and I say that, and at the same time I'm telling you, I never noticed until this one time. But I think that's what was going on. It seems he probably, in a very subtle and crafty way, like disallowed me from talking to any other man. Not by telling me you can't talk to this man or that man, but just in his mannerism. He was very chivalrous, which I like, right? I've shared before with my channel that I tend to be very submissive to my men. I can be a boss, in a relationship. I don't want to be the man in a relationship. I'm pretty old-fashioned like that. I can be a 50-50 partner. We can go halvesies. That's cool with me. But I don't want to be the man. I want to be very clear about that. Anyway, so with him, there was never a thing. Literally, the day I met him, he asked me, who is treating you like a queen? Within minutes of me meeting him, he asked me this question. And I said, no one. And he said, well, I am going to. And he did. He kept his word. So he handled all our business together. He paid all our tabs. If the car needed to be valeted, he did all that stuff. If there was any need to have any mail discussion, he had to deal with a provider, a service person, or whatever. I don't know where. I guess maybe I would get back in the car. Just very naturally, I wouldn't be around for that kind of stuff. He dealt with the men, he dealt with the business, whereas it pertained to our dates and our dating life, period. So, I guess I never really had an occasion where I had to talk to a man until this one time. So, actually, it was his birthday. And I asked him if I could take him out for his birthday. And I remember he got so excited. Because it seemed like nobody had ever taken him out or offered to take him out. I guess people were used to him, paying the bill and stuff like that. And which was actually one of the things that he told me he liked about me after our first date. Was that, he was so free with me, with his wallet and with his money. And when he got home, he still had, all his funds in his wallet. I didn't take anything, I didn't abuse him, I didn't abuse his kindness and stuff like that. So that was one of the things he said he liked about me. Anyway, so he just was so excited that I was going to take him out. He wasn't taking me out. And so we invited one of his friends, we invited my girlfriend. Don't ask about what went on with his friend. His friend turned out to be married, and he didn't know. And the guy had his wife sitting in the car in the parking lot. Don't ask. He sent him away. So it was me, my girlfriend, and him. And we had a good time. We turned up completely, and we had a large check, a big bill at the end of the day. And I went to pay it. I gave him my card. He hands me my card back, and he hands me his wallet to pay the bill. So I pay the bill, and now we've been drinking and stuff. That was part of the turn up. we're on our way home. We dropped my friend off. She lives in Jersey. And if you know anything about the state of Jersey in terms of driving and getting gas, there are no self-service pumps in Jersey. Every gas pump in Jersey is full service. So it's always a serviceman. So I pull up alongside. The tank is on my side, right? I pull up alongside the pump. Excuse me. Maybe I'm not supposed to tell you this. I pull up alongside the pump. Do you hear my voice? Oh my God. And I'm driving, so it's on the driver's side. So I'm right next to the pump, and I roll down my window, and I'm waiting for the guy to come over to the window. And all of a sudden, he says, "Roll your window up." And even though he said it like very forcefully and was kind of yelling at me, it still didn't click into my head like what he was saying, what was happening. So I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I said, roll your fucking window up." He's like screaming at me. So I'm like, "Okay." And I'm pushing the button like I'm mad. I figured there must be like a shootout or something outside. Like something crazy is happening. And, he wants me to roll my window up to be safe, right? But then he gets a car and I'm like, "Well, where are you going? Like, get back in here with me. What are you doing? Get back in here. It's not safe out there." He goes, now he's behind the car and doing whatever he's doing. And then he comes back and he sits he gets back in and very casually. And, gas pumped, and he's like, "Take off." And so that's when I realized that that whole thing was about him wanting to not only pay, but to talk to the gas station attendant to tell him, that we needed gas. He didn't even want me to talk to this other man enough to say, "Fill her up." A red flag, but I didn't really, that's not why we broke up. We broke up because of ghosting. He was the first man to ever ghost me. I didn't know what that was about. For a grown man to go missing a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Because my first thing is like, are you okay? Are you alive? Like, what's happening? I haven't heard from you. Not thinking you trying to play me and like that. That was definitely not my first thought, especially not the first time it happened. Now I know, that this is something that I say emotionally immature people do. Because I don't understand why a grown person can't say it. Like, this is what it is. I'm feeling you. I'm not feeling you. Whatever. I'm a grown man and I'm choosing to do this and I don't give a fuck what you think about it. Like, tell me straight up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he ghosted me. He started toward the end. We were together for like 6 months, and toward the end, he started disappearing. The reason we ceased to be together, he started disappearing a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and I wasn't tolerating that. I refused to tolerate it. Now, what's funny is I do tolerate it out of my divine masculine. He ghosts me all the time. In fact, the last time he ghosted me was literally during mid-conversation, where we were having a conversation via text, and I said something he didn't like, apparently, and he stopped texting, like literally during the conversation, just like completely left me hanging. And we continued like that for months. And the next time I heard from him was, ironically, for him to let me know about my late ex's passing. Isn't that something? So that's the story of two of me and two of my soulmates. Different kinds of soulmates. So I really feel like me and Tommy were what they call mirrored souls, and because we really did mirror each other, like in terms of like looking in a mirror and seeing the opposite thing. My birthday is 6/13. His birthday is 12/13. I'm a Gemini. He's a Sagittarius. Those are mirror signs, or opposite axis signs. I live by the Trade Center. I'm a 9/11 survivor. I met him because he was a welder on the new tower, the Freedom Tower that went up. So it's like, I'm a 9/11 survivor. He is 9/11, I guess kind of hero or rebuilder. His first name was Thomas. My last name was Thomas.